Hey, good morning, my friends. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Hello, it's 22nd of April, it's 2020 still. It's not going anywhere fast, is it? And we're here, right? It's Chat with Matt. Hopefully I'm on the Bright Light Facilitator group. I'm thinking of changing the name, by the way. So if you see the name change this week, don't freak out. Same group, different name. I think I'm getting the word facilitators out of there because I know it's confused a lot of people. And maybe bringing the word empowerment in. Hey, Sister Mary, how are you? Bright empowerment? No, but maybe empowered bright lights is a potential. Or maybe no bright light in there either. So anyway, here we are. We've got half an hour chat with Matt. I was a couple of minutes, well, a little bit late, but not really. Getting on. How are you guys going? I'm still dancing with all sorts of stuff going on. All sorts of stuff going on here. My back is still really, really niggly. Starting to Marie. It's really testing my ability to trust that it's not something actually quote unquote damaged. Hey, Sister Catherine. Hey, Sister Adelaide. Adelaide. Donna, good morning, good afternoon for you, no doubt, because I believe you're in the States, Donna. My memory serves me correctly. You too, with a sore back, or just interesting? Hey, Sister Leslie. Yeah, so it's interesting times. There's a lot of, this is radiating out through the right side of my back, so it's definitely to do with support and, quote unquote, the masculine business, or, structure. Structures are falling away. Potentially, hello Adelaide. Potentially, as I am actually being more and more supported in business and doing all of that stuff, then I'm having to release a lot of not supported, and thus that density moving out from where it's been stored, the right side of my lower back, is potentially not so pleasant. Hey, Sister Jen. But, it's all just story. It's all just story. Apparently, Brother Lewis just posted in this group. I'm not going to go looking for it right now. What's up? I know Sister Louise wrote in last night asking about how's my experience been since doing the global collective thing. What do we call it? Do we call it global collective or collective? Yeah, I think we did. The global collective. Anyway, we're 14 or 15 of us healers who basically had a loose tie through the fact that we'd all done from heartache to joy back then. Some more are still doing it. Some are well gone from doing it. But not everyone had done from heartache to joy, e.g., in Shelley and the like, but I believe Crystal has. And anyway, doesn't matter. So there was a link there between us all, and Dipal reached out and said, hey, do you want to do this thing? Thinking of doing a thing where we all get on together and hold space for an hour and a half. Ended up going for 2 hours, didn't it? That was bound to happen with basically, I think there was 14 of us, wasn't there? There was supposed to be 15 of us doing 5 minutes each. It was supposed to be an hour and a half. And of course it went for 2 hours. But when you do the math, that only means that we did 7 minutes each. Or I think some people went extra long and some people tried to stay closer to the 5 minutes. Anyway, and that also happens, doesn't it? Because how can you do a process in 5 minutes, right? It's almost an impossible task. It takes me 5 minutes to just warm up. I've been on this call for nearly 5 minutes and I haven't done anything yet. It's just, to come on and deliver a facilitated experience in 5 minutes is a very interesting task, and one I was quite interested to see how it went. I was surprised how well it did go, actually, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, it was a good experiment, and certainly plenty of people got excited about it. I think we had about 2,000 opt-ins to that. And there was about 600 people there live while we're doing it on Zoom. So that was exciting. So what's happened since then? What's happened since then is I've had about 80 odd people sign up to my newsletter. So basically at the end, Dipal sent out an email, and on the YouTube replay there was links. Hey, Brother Lou. There were links to free gifts that each of us put a free gift up, basically, and people signed up for that. So that was good. 80 odd email addresses, people who are generally interested in what I do because they've seen an example of it and then chosen to download something for free, is quite valuable for me. Like, you know, as someone who's getting into marketing now, I know that a lead like that costs generally at least $5 New Zealand each, and sometimes quite a bit more. So, you know, it's about $400 worth of traffic, warm traffic, people who are interested in what I do. And of course I have sold a few bits and bobs to those new people, MP3s and my $5 Empowered You toolkit, stuff like that. So awesome. Energetically, what's happened since then? I can't distinguish how much influence that has had in what is happening energetically, because there's so much happening energetically. I don't think participating, hey Brother Paul, hey Brother Lou, I don't know if participating in that particular facilitation created that much difference in my energy field. It was definitely an event. There was definitely a lot of energy came through me when I finally got my time to speak, my 5 or 6 minutes, after sitting there for the best part of 2 hours, trying to look interested. No, I shouldn't say that. Yeah. What else? It also gave me, on an egoic level, it was good to see what everyone else is doing and see that, they're not doing anything more advanced than what I do. Right, despite some of them having an incredible amount of financial success, incredible to my mind, right? To my, Matt's issues with lack mentality and being paid for what I'm worth and being good enough, right? So that was interesting, and I definitely got some of them reached out after the event and said how almost surprised and excited they were by my little facilitation. So that was nice. It's always nice to get some recognition from your peers, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know if anything else other than that, Sister Louise. Sewing masks while listening. Yeah, I'm sure in your part of the world, Brother Lewis, there's hot demand for masks. What else, my friends? What else did I miss? Anything? I might open it up here on my computer screen because I know when I get talking, I miss comments coming in. Let's do a refresh on that. But please ask something. What do you want to know? What's going on for you? It is very interesting times. There's certainly things I could just ramble on about. But potentially I would rather answer questions rather than me just ramble on about whatever wants to come out of my mouth. Here we go. I've got that up. Hey, Brother Rich, how are you? And Suzanne? Separation, Brother Paul. Separation is an illusion, right? A delusion. The idea that we are separate from anything else is delusionary from the bigger perspective of what this whole experience is as a manifestation of God's source universe experiencing itself. And yet separation is what allows us to have the experience that we gain wisdom from. So separation is a very necessary part of the experience, even though it's not the truth. We can dip into speaking about truth. A lot of people get very, very hung up around this concept of truth and don't want to deal with anything that they don't believe is true. And yet we're basically, the whole of this experience is founded in a big fat lie that we are separate from one another. So, and it's okay, right? It's okay. It's a matter of working with separation in an empowered way. It's a matter of working with the delusion of the world in an empowered way so that we can have the experiences, but we don't get lost in the experience. But even the experience of being lost in the experience is a valid experience. But for those of us awakening, of course, we're tired of that. So we're playing this push-pull game where we've become aware that separation is a lie, and yet we get frustrated because we keep getting drawn into it and we keep awakening and sleeping again. Hey, Sister Erin, how are you? Awesome that you are connected live now. Talking about separation, I'm happy to talk about anything else as well. So please feel free to reach out with a question or a topic. So the point of separation is to be aware of it and yet still be an allowance of it, right? I've been dealing a lot lately in the yoga group. We've been talking about this a bit too. This progression from awareness through acceptance, allowance, appreciation, and then love, right? It flows together. First, we have to have awareness, right? Because until you've got awareness, you're lost. Not lost forever, but you're just in reaction. You're not aware of what's influencing how you respond to any particular situation or the thoughts that are going through you or the emotions that are arising, right? The experience is happening to you rather than you partaking in it until you have awareness. Once you have awareness, then you've got another set of problems, right? Another set of problems, because now you tend to want to understand things and then judge them, right? Because you're aware of things. Let me come back. Paul wrote in the understanding of from the body, being the observer, living from there, being in the experience, but not the attachment. Exactly, right? So once we have the awareness, then we have the choices as to whether we accept or whether we fight, whether we get attached to what we believe is right or wrong. What we believe is either pleasant or unpleasant, right? We get attached to trying to manipulate the delusion of the world in order to, that's a lot of comments just come in, but I'll read them in a sec. The delusion of the world, whether we get attached to trying to fight the natural flow, right? Because that's why attachment doesn't work. Attachment isn't quote unquote wrong in sort of God source universe's eyes, right? A lot of people talk about attachment like it's a big evil thing, and it's not evil at all, right? Nothing's really evil. And nothing's really wrong. Nothing really is an affront to God. So many people get caught up in trying to do it right because they think once they do it right, they're going to get a sort of stamp in their passport and allowed to move on, right? But we stay here for as long as we desire, as long as we have things to learn. And learning about attachment and how it railroads us is valid learning for souls on this journey. So attachment is a game of the ego where we become aware of an experience. We create an understanding of it, not the understanding, but an understanding through our own perspective, which is coming through the filters of our ego, which is based in our history, right? Experiences we've had in the past has shaped how we perceive things. And from that perception, we cast judgment onto something that we're aware of, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, pleasant or unpleasant, right? Any other number of judgments, categories that we hold them in. And then we decide whether we want more of it or less of it, right? And then we get attached to that idea, right? That we're going to keep that away, or we need something, right? Either we need the absence of something, or we need the presence of something. That's attachment. We get very attached to it. And then all hell breaks loose. Because the truth is we've never been in control of our experience from the ego space, and yet we want to think that we should be. And then we get very frustrated that we can't maintain these attachments, and the trying to maintain them creates a great deal of suffering, right? Because we don't feel that we're good enough, or we feel like we're the victim, or all sorts of ego games play out then as we try to run from this idea of maintaining control of our world. Doesn't have to be that way, right? We can have the awareness, and then we can have this magical thing called acceptance, right? Where we accept that we are God source universe incarnated in a human form, having an experience in the flow of it as a collective, and we're all making collective decisions. We have influence over our experience, but we don't have control over our experience, right? We can have more influence over our experience when we let go of trying to control it, right? Ironically, when we let go of trying to control the world around us, we actually have more influence over the world around us because we become in alignment. We become congruent with the experience that we're choosing energetically, rather than projecting ourselves outside into the perceived physical around us, trying to manipulate things. So when we come out of there and come back into here, we actually project the energy of what we're choosing, and then it naturally reflects back to us, right? So accepting that we can't control it, and then choosing to align with what we're appreciating, right? So then appreciation comes in after acceptance. We start to appreciate. We have allowance and then appreciation. Appreciation is very, very powerful. You know, we all talk about the power of gratitude. When what we appreciate appreciates. Appreciation means to grow. And so that's the change point, right? When we stop trying to control from this idea of lack, that we need something, that we're attached to something, either having it or keeping it away from us, and we allow all of that to do whatever it's doing to meet the current energies that we're holding, right? Because we have an understanding that we are what we are based on the history that we've had thus far, and we come back into ourselves and align with the true heart desires that we have, then we can appreciate that and allow it to ripple out around us, so that then stuff starts to manifest in somewhat magical ways into our life, and things can turn around. Does that answer it, Brother Paul? I might have been right off topic from what you were talking about, but anyway, that's where we went. The understanding of from the body, being the observer, living from there, being in the experience, but not the attachment. Yeah, I think I talked to that. Awesome, Sister Luna. Sleep well. Sister Leslie. Loving this time and the possibilities it presents to connect deeply in myself and keep noticing how I hold back and try to distract myself. Yes. So it's not that you're trying to distract yourself, it's that the resistance within your field is naturally bubbling to the surface right now, Sister Leslie. So you're doing a great job. So the phrasing of your question is coming from this negative bias that you are somehow failing, that you're somehow trying to distract yourself. You're not trying to distract yourself at all. I know the ego, it somehow looks a little bit that way. I know for myself, I've been battling with it myself, right? But the point is that you are doing a good job of connecting more deeply to yourself. And as a result, your resistance is bubbling to the surface because it can no longer stay comfortably hidden within you. Because as you align with yourself, right, connect with yourself, your vibration is naturally rising and you are naturally expanding with that. And the deep, dark densities and resistances that you've picked up from experiences in the past can't stay in your field comfortably, so they arise to release. Now, in that arisement to release, it's a distraction because you were intent on being the being, and now you are feeling the shit, right? You're feeling what you're releasing, you're feeling your resistance, and it's a distraction, and it feels like something is trying to stop you. It feels like you are being sabotaged. People call it self-sabotage, right? It's not a bad thing. It's the process of release happening. The sabotage bit is when you focus on it and try and fix it, or when you focus on it and make it wrong first and then try and fix it. So you're choosing to connect with yourself, and now all of a sudden you feel a discordant part of yourself, a little girl who's in grief, or a little girl who's in frustration arising within you, and you go, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. I'm supposed to be connecting with my divinity, and now I'm feeling this rage, or I'm feeling this deep grief, or I'm feeling this frustration, or I'm feeling this guilt, or I'm feeling whatever, right? Judgment in your field, emotionally, mentally, and even physically, right? Talking about my back. And at that point, what it helps us to do is have that deep breath to become aware that this, what we're feeling, is what we are releasing, to have some acceptance that this is actually a good thing. Then to have allowance, that I'm going to allow myself to feel this because that is actually the process of letting it go. And then to bring ourselves back into, but I am choosing to stay aligned with my choice, right? Even though I'm feeling all of this stuff that feels like a distraction, I'm choosing not to be distracted by it. That doesn't mean suppressing it, doesn't mean pushing it away. Hey, Sister Jen. It doesn't mean, denial, but happy to swap bags. I know you've experienced this sort of shit for a long time, Paulie. But the point is to be an allowance of that process and not to label it as a distraction or as a failure. The more that you can see that it's part of your process, you will go through it much, much, much more effectively. And it's the same for you, Paul, dealing with your back, right? The more that we can accept that it's a process of releasing density and not a failing of ours, or we're not the victim of it, then we can release it more effectively and more effectively align with the outcome that we're choosing, the connection with ourselves. And over time, as we get rid of some of the density that's ready to go, we will see the choice that we're making reflecting back to us. Unfortunately, at first, we see what we're releasing reflected back to us, and it makes it feel like we're failing in achieving what we really desire. Sister Luna said, it is a wild ride. That's all I want to say for now. Peace to everyone. Enjoy your sleep, Sister Luna. Mary wrote, truth with a capital T has to be beyond belief because beliefs can and do change. There has to be an absolute truth. The absolute truth is there's no separation, Mary. We are one. That's it. That's the end of absolute truth. Everything other than that is a aspect of belief. All sorts of things that we call true. We call gravity true because we all keep experiencing it, but it is a fabrication of this experience. It is not the absolute truth. It doesn't exist everywhere, and it doesn't have to exist here, right? So that's just an example. That is of everything, right? All of the divine laws that we call divine laws are actually not the absolute truth, but an agreement of the collective, right? So truth is not beyond belief. The absolute truth that we're all one is, but every other truth is not. Every other truth is held in place by belief. Every other truth. The truth that a particle behaves like a wave is held in place by belief. Not necessarily just human belief, but belief. It's a construct, right? It's all just a construct, right? Physicality, this idea that this is a physical thing and it's used to write, is a construct. So we're bought into that construct and we believe it because that's all we've ever experienced. And thus but it's not wrong for being that. It's just important to understand as we awaken, we come to understand that everything is belief. And belief changes everything. And belief is not wrong. Beliefs are not wrong. You don't need to get beyond your beliefs. You can't get beyond your beliefs. Jesus is not beyond his belief. Archangel Metatron is not beyond his belief. They create from their belief. And their beliefs are becoming more and more expansive as they keep evolving, right? We're all on that pathway. There is no... There's no real hierarchy, and there's no real need to put people down for living from their beliefs that are not aligned with your beliefs. You might think that their beliefs are less than yours, right? But it's like putting a 3-year-old down for enjoying playing in a sandpit with a truck, right? That's the stage they're at, and they're perfect, right? They're a divine being, just like every other soul on this planet, right? We're all divine beings. We're all aspects of the one having these experiences. A lot of people want to get in their mind and play this hierarchical game that I'm better because my beliefs are more expansive, or I'm beyond beliefs now. I'm just in the truth, right? This whole egoic bullshit that I'm aligned with the truth now. I'm not ruled by my beliefs, and you're in delusion of delusion. I think there's a little blip out there when I got all excited. The internet just said something. Anyway, Sister Leslie wrote, makes sense. I just keep noticing the laziness and comfort seeking. Yeah. So understand that the laziness is a lot of density arising within as you're going through the process, right? So what's arising from within is dense. When it comes up in your field, it feels like lethargy. It feels like fatigue, right? A lot of people are saying how tired they are. A lot of people are saying how they've lost all their motivation. A lot of people are experiencing this laziness. And, we're kind of in lockdown for this experience to take place where we can have the time to allow ourselves to be still and let a lot of this stuff come up. And it's not that we shouldn't do any action at all. Of course, we should move our bodies. It's important to move our bodies to help stuff move through, right? And we should do our practices, it would serve us, benefit us to do our practices, our breathing, our meditation practices. But it's also going to serve us to maintain an allowance that we are feeling very, quote unquote, lazy or lethargic or tired at the moment. And that's not a wrongness. It is a reflection of the density that we're releasing. And so that's it's all okay. So don't judge yourself as being wrong for that, and don't judge yourself wrong for needing some comfort right now. At the same time, maintain an awareness of what comfort would really comfort you, and what comfort is old emotional crutches that aren't really serving you, right? It's easy to label something as, well, this makes me comfortable, but it's actually holding you back. So it's a matter of having that awareness and then being easy with yourself, right? Not disciplined from a state of fear. If I don't get this right, there's a lot of, I've had a few comments going on that there's a lot of people preaching right now that this is our time and we have to get this right, otherwise the earth is going to fucking crash and we're all going to be annihilated, right? This is our chance and we have to release all of our density right now, where this is the time for us. That level of stress isn't helping anyone, right? Because if you're in the idea, the desperation that now is the time and we don't do it now, then it's game over, then you're not going to be able to do it. That's the point. You have to relax. This whole process is one of relaxing into our innate divinity, right? We're relaxing out of our mental stories. You can't try hard to do that. It happens in the moments of stillness. It happens in the allowance of being quote unquote lazy. Right, so Leslie, allow yourself to be lethargic and tired and all the rest of it. Allow yourself to feel like, thank you, calendar, to feel like needing comfort, but then just maintain an edge of awareness on how you are seeking your comfort. Right, it is definitely, Louise, an opportunity to let shit go, and that happens through not trying, but just being in acceptance and allowance and maintaining relaxation, which doesn't mean necessarily doing nothing, but maintaining a calmness, an out of stress state, right? An expansive state where we're not trying too hard, because trying hard only creates stress, which limits our ability to move forward. Okay. Mary said, I had a teacher who had us believing she was beyond her beliefs, but was able to see that she was not. Yeah, you were able to see that she was not. There's plenty of teachers who get themselves into that delusion, and many people want to follow someone who they believe is extra special and somehow awakened to that stage, and then they're definitely going to lead you to your happiness, right? Because they're extra special. A lot of people want that. The guru mindset of putting people up on a pedestal because it makes us feel good. Quite often the guru didn't want to get on the pedestal, but it gets pushed up there by everyone wanting someone who's infallible to be guiding them. And it's a very, very dangerous situation, of course. Anywho, Brother Paul, realizing I'm moving through the attachment process. I'm truth, so I'm looking to let go of what's not true, seeing me as the observer, feeling more love and appreciation, but then we seek more. Who is the one seeking? The path is endless of patterns of circles. Yeah, hopefully the circles become spirals. So as we circle round, we're a little bit more expansive, right? We're a little bit more aware. We have a little bit more understanding of the process. So yeah, we go in circular motion, but generally we feel that our circles are gradually growing and we're expanding in our wisdom and our understanding. So it's definitely not a linear path, right? We have to let go of the idea of linear path and allow ourselves to circle back around and not get frustrated that we're having similar experiences again that we thought we were done with, because that doesn't help, right? As soon as we start judging ourselves as not good enough or having failed because we're having the old experience again, we diminish our vibration. We want to keep allowing our vibration to grow. So that's why acceptance is really, really important. Important again. Acceptance is really, really valuable, because if we can accept that, well, we're having the same experience again, but we can have it in a slightly different way this time because we're not contracted around the wrongness of having the same experience again. Acceptance, right? Acceptance is so, so important. Awareness, and then acceptance, and then appreciation will allow us to grow into basically a loving experience here on this planet, an expansive experience of light and love. So, but what's next? The path is endless, but that's nothing to commiserate, really. Anyway, Mary, thank you for taking this time. Thank you for talking about this time and the stress that it's creating in us all to get it all right. Yeah, there's no right. There's no right, and everything's right. So just relax, right? This is really a time to relax. And at the same time, it's a time to be aware, right? You can be aware while relaxed. And that, in fact, you can't really be aware unless you are relaxed, right? Because our intuitive awareness arises through a state of expansion, not through a space of stress. So I keep saying relax. I mean, turn off your stress response, right? Get your diaphragm moving. Fill yourself with oxygen. Visualize yourself filling with light and allowing it to radiate out through you to release this tension physically, mentally, and emotionally. Consistently throughout your day. You need to do it consistently. It's not enough just to do your practice in the morning and then think you're going to be hunky-dory all day. You're deluded, right? You need to be choosing time and time again to take action to release the residues of stress that are building up in you. Not just from stuff that's coming from outside of you, but stuff that's arising from inside of you, right? I've got pains coming up from my back as energies are shifting out. It's very easy for that to induce a stress in my mind that something's wrong, something's damaged. I need to get this fixed. I'm going to lose my functionality because, right, more and more stress, which creates more and more pain, right? Because it tightens around it. As soon as I choose to breathe deep and relax and go, this is just energy moving through my field, right? I am just a being of energy, and this experience is an energetic experience. As soon as I take that approach, the back loosens up and I'm able to move forward again. I'm able to focus on what's important to me in this moment rather than the distraction of something that's releasing out of my field. But sure enough, that's not the end of it. It's going to happen again. I'm going to get caught up in what I'm doing. I'm going to sit in my seat a little bit too long. There's going to be a natural contraction that happens there. Stress builds up because technology is technology and it doesn't work the way we want it to. Nothing goes the way our mind thinks that it should. There's always natural stressors happening for us, and it's a matter of us bringing our perspective back. Is this really worth getting stressed about, right? So we breathe and we relax and we use methods to, like a first aid remedy for the stress that we have created, and then we choose again to help maintain a perspective that keeps us out of or limits the amount of stress that is being induced through the experience that we're having. We maintain a more expansive or a more mature relationship or perspective, attitude towards the current situation that we're experiencing, the challenges that we're currently having, whether that's trying to get the kids in the bath or whether that's trying to get a friggin' sales funnel to work. It doesn't matter. It's the same, right? It's the same outcome. If we let it beat us, if we make it a fight, if we make it us versus them, us versus it, then we create the separation, which is where we started this talking about separation. We create a separation where I am at odds with something outside of myself, and I need to beat it. I need to fix it. Right? It's all just a manifestation of ourselves. The external resistance we're having, whether it's another person or a construct, a program, an object, right? Trying to get the lid off a freaking tin, whatever. If we make it an us versus them battle, we're always going to lose. We're always going to lose, right? So yes, holding lots and lots of space for all of us, Brother Paul, and everyone who is experiencing discomfort to a level that is creating pain and tears. The time is nigh for releasing, and it's okay to feeling the intensity right now. Things are supposed to be intense right now. The whole universe is conspiring, breathing together, right? Conspiring, conspiracy, right? Is breathing together to help us right now release what we no longer wish to carry forward, what no longer serves us to carry forward. When I say we wish, not us egoically, but us, higher self, divinely, want to carry forward. So a lot of our stuff that we've been very attached to is being shaken loose right now because it's not serving us to keep hanging on to it. So we have to let it go. And there's a lot of grief that goes with that. There's a lot of pain of separation, losing things that we thought were important to us, but we're about to find out that it's not so important to us. Trillions of dollars have been lost off the world economy right now. How important was that? For some people, very. For most of us, who cares, right? I know some of us have 401s or whatever, superannuation investments, and it's a shame to see those diminish, especially if we're into the stage where we're living from that money. But the point is we have to trust. We have to trust that this experience on this planet is far more than what we've been sold based on a financial transaction, right? There's this whole financial transaction from birth to death that we have to work to gain this money in order to earn our freedom and our happiness. And it's bullshit, right? And we're starting to see that. We're going to see that very, very clearly. That whole process, that whole belief system is crumbling right now. Well, I'm well and done. I've well and truly done it. I've been on here for 38 minutes or so. I think I've got it all. Sister Mary, be wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove. I don't know how wise a serpent is, but anyway, much love. Much love to you all, my friends. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you feel that I can help you in any way, in a deeper way, reach out, right? And I can talk about how I can support you, either in some of my other programs or one-on-one work or whatever. There's all sorts of ways that I can help you. So I'm here, right? This is what I do. So don't be shy. Reach out, either messenger or email, or just pop a comment in this feed and I'll see it, right? I read every one of these comments and I'll respond as needed. Much love, right? Much love. Keep breathing deep. Do your own practice. Choose to stay out of stress and choose to maintain a level of acceptance for what's going on. That doesn't mean being used as a doormat, right? But it does mean removing yourself from an energetic fight that only causes stress within yourself so that you can be more able to advocate for the outcome that you desire, right? Time now to maintain our attention on what we're choosing to create for our future, starting right now, right? Happiness right now, empowered freedom right now, authentic confidence and ability to express ourselves right now. We're choosing it, we're aligning with it, and we're having to accept that there's a release that has to happen before we can have it in totality, right? Much love. Bye for now. Speak to you soon.